What's going on, guys? It's Thursday, another Forza trial that you probably need help with, and that's why you're here. And guess what? You've come to the right place. This week we have Happy New Year, a very original title. I will give Forza some credit there, not really. It is a winter road racing event for classic racers tuned to B spec. Now the car I decided to go with is a 1964 Ford GT40 Mark I. And I made my own tuning setup for it. I'll show it on screen right now. It's called Snow. Straight and to the point. No fancy titles, no long titles. It's Snow. It's what it is. It's a snow setup. Now there are other cars that you could use that'll be competitive in this event, but I think the Ford GT40 is kind of it's good. It's probably the best for winter, I would say. If it was just a regular road racing event, I probably wouldn't use the GT40 as my first option. But for road racing, for the winter road racing, it's a great car to use. Now, originally I tried using an old tuning setup I had with the regular racing tires, and I wanted to put snow tires on it to see how much better it would be, and man, did it make a difference, let me tell you. A lot of people probably aren't going to really think to do that. They're going to keep the racing tires on pretty much any surface in the game. And let me tell you, if you're making your own tuning setup for one of these cars in this category, put snow tires on. It's going to make a world of difference, especially in the first and third races. Now in the second race, the point-to-point race, the car's going to get a little uncomfortable, I will say, during the race, because there's a lot of pavement that's not covered with snow, so it's not going to handle quite as well. But once you get on those snow-covered roads, those snow tires make such a big difference. So I had to improvise sort of and make a new tune for it, and it turned out pretty well. This car is a beast. Very competitive car, very fun car. And like I said, the handling and stuff, you're gonna look at the stats: 8.1, 8.1, like for speed handling and braking, 8.3. You know, you're gonna see some setups on there it's gonna be like 7.6 with like an 8.9 handling or something like that, with like a 9 braking. It's going to be a little deceiving just because how good the snow tires actually are, and the game doesn't really reflect that too much on the way they show the statistics for the car. But yeah, definitely recommend snow tires and racing springs if the car has racing spring options. Some of them don't. They'll have the regular springs or rally springs. If you do make a tuning setup and can't use racing springs, I would recommend stiffening up the springs quite considerably, especially in the damping category. I usually like to have on the front for the damping have like anywhere from like an 11 to a 13, and then on the rear, you know, like a 9 to a 10, something like that. And then excuse me, then for the rebound have half, like if it was 11 on the front, have like a 5.5 for the front for the rebound, and then if it was a 9 for the rear on the damping for the rebound, have it 4.5. I usually like to have it half of what the actual damping thing is. Let's see, let me go actually look at it. Yeah, damping for the stiffness, I like to have, like for this car right now, for the Ford GT40 I made, I have a 9 for the front for the stiffness, rebound stiffness, and for the rear rebound stiffness I have a 14.5. And then for the bump stiffness I have a 4.5 for the front and a 7.5 for the rear. So I have half, 4.5 is half of the 9, 7.5. It's roughly half of the 14.5. But also you're gonna want to stiffen springs a little bit if the car doesn't have racing springs. Like I said, if it's a default springs, you're gonna want to have a little stiffer. Actual just straight up springs, you're gonna want them to be a little stiffer than normal, especially for the rear, for my preference. And I like to stiffen up the anti-roll bars a little bit as well, and just have the rear a little bit more stiff than the front. I'm just trying to help you guys out. If you don't want to use this tune and want to make your own, I'm just trying to give you some pointers that I kind of learned along the way. You're going to see a lot of people using the stock Lola, which is pretty much worthless when it's completely stock. I've seen a lot of people using the Alpha Stradale 33. It's another really very good option for this event. If this was a regular, like if this was any other season, if this was in like spring or something, I would definitely use the 33 Stradale. I think it's probably the best car in the class. But for winter, you can do a little bit more tuning-wise with the GT40 Mark I. Other cars that would be decent options There's one of the Porsches I found I was messing around with. It's kind of a sleeper because I haven't seen anybody use it yet. Let me see what it's... It has a lot of 6s in it, I know that. Here we go, the 1966 Porsche 906 Carrera 6. So many 6s, gosh dang it. But that's another very good car. It handles so well. It'd be the easiest car to drive for this event probably, but it's not too fast. Let's see other decent options. Excuse me again. There was another Porsche that's actually handles really well, but it's not very fast. The Porsche 718 RS60 is another decent choice. All the people I've seen so far, I've done this trial a couple different times. I've seen people mainly using the 33 Stradale or the Alpha Giulia TZ2 is another one I've seen. And there are a handful of options, but I do think the 64 GT40 Mark 1 is the best option because when you put the snow tires on, there's just so much more stuff you can do tuning wise to make it faster and make it just, you can dial in perfectly for winter. But let me know down in the comments what worked for you, if you decided to give this tuning setup a try or somebody else's tuning setup, you know, or even if you made your own. Let me know how it went. Let me know if you guys won, if you had any success. Hope you guys have a safe and happy new year. If you guys are going to do any drinking tonight, you know, if you're going to be partying about, designate a driver, call a taxi. Don't drive drunk, don't be stupid. Don't ruin your life and potentially somebody else's. Be smart. Have a safe holiday. I will see you guys next week.